Hey everybody, Ralph Havens here, autoimmuneanswers.com. And it's about 6 o'clock in the morning here in the Pacific Northwest. And for some reason, I woke up a little early today. Usually I wake up about 5 and start doing my Qigong and my meditation and figure out what I want to do for the day and for life and stuff. But today I woke up earlier and I thought, well, I'm already up, so let's get started. And it's one of the reasons I think why when people watch these videos, they can have a big change simply from watching. It's because doing that much Qigong and meditation beforehand really sets the space, sets the Qi field, organizes the healing energy, and then people can have a big shift. And I was thinking today, why do I work so hard? Why do I work so hard? Yesterday I had a session that made me a bit sad because somebody decided not to go for it, and I saw a lot of potential in somebody, and I was saddened when I saw somebody go through a lot of turmoil and then decide not to go do stuff to change their life. And of course, it's everybody's choice. And I was thinking, why do I work so hard? I want a big life with my family, and want to do a lot of good in the world, and want to bring vaccine safety awareness to families so that kids aren't hurt anymore. And I want to help people heal from autoimmune conditions and anxiety like I did, and want a big life and reach the world, And I thought, well, why do I want that? What's the big deal? And I kept thinking, okay, why do I want that? And well, it's because of this. So I kept asking the questions, why? And so, like, why is that important? Well, it's because it's what I did to fix myself up. So, well, it's like nobody wants to live in fear and anxiety and have lots of chronic issues. So why are you doing what you do? And as I was going through it, I realized something. When I was a kid, the way I spent my life, it's just crazy. But I had a stepdad, and we just seemed to always be sitting around wishing life was better and complaining about the people that were supposedly not letting us do well in the world, and all the people that were out to hurt us. And my stepdad just smoked tons of cigarettes, so I sat in this smoky room all the time, and he just complained, and then we would always be working on cars, beat up old cars, and we were always moving stuff into this big truck that we had. But we had, we'd wake up in the morning on the weekend, and he'd have this plan about we were going to move these boxes, and we were going to pack this stuff, and we were going to work on this car. And then we wouldn't end up doing it much. We would sit around. And part of it was he had emphysema because of all the smoking and stuff. And so we ended up where I would just sit there in a smoke-filled room while he complained about stuff and saying how come we didn't have any money, and then not doing anything. And so then when we finally got to do something, I would rush around and move the boxes fast and try my best, and because I wanted to do stuff. I was like sick of sitting around. It's one of my pet peeves. I hate to wait. And so I realized this morning that when I was one of my main motivations, he was one of my biggest spiritual teachers, my stepdad, because I made conscious decisions that I would never treat my kids like that. I actually was scared to have a little boy. I thought I should have a little girl, because I was scared I would treat my little boy like I was treated. But I made a decision. I have two little boys, and I made a decision very consciously and on a very deep level that I would never be like that to my boys. And I think one of my big motivations is I want a big life, and I want to do a lot of good in the world and help people heal and solve chronic issues and anxiety stuff. But I want to never be like my stepdad, ever. And whenever I see any inkling of that, I go and just absolutely zero in and clear it. And so he's been one of my spiritual teachers, one of my big motivators to live the way I live, to actually do stuff in the world and to figure it out. And, you know, one of the things I realized is that it's so important for us to be around the people that inspire us, that teach us, that have been where we want to go, that know how to get there, that know how to do stuff. And then it's really important to do it. And one of the big things I think is cool is to figure out why you want what you want. You know, why do you want what you want? It could definitely be because you want something really cool in the world, do something really big. But it also could be because you don't want certain things, you know, ways you were raised or things that happen. And so then there's like these two different versions of it, right? Like there's the people that had the bad stuff happen and then life goes not so good for them. And there's people that had the bad stuff happen and it inspires a lot of action and decisions and absolute belief that they're not going to do it that way. So that's my session for today. My idea is like one of the biggest things I see and one of my main goals when I talk to people is to help them get really clear on what they want, you know, and what you want. Because if you're really clear on what you want and why it's so important to you, then there's a decision, right? Then there's a decision like, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Now, it's okay to not do it. But isn't it cool if there's a conscious decision one way or the other? Doesn't have to be a conscious decision, but it's an option. And I think that's one of the keys, because people can get well. You know, if people interact with me, they can get over anxiety. They can clear that. They can get over autoimmune conditions. I was talking to my neighbor yesterday about some of her family members that are, you know, not her immediate family, but extended family and friends and people she knows and people actually in our neighborhood. And it's like, oh my God, there's a lot of pain and anxiety and conditions out there. And there's ways to fix it up, but there is stuff to do in order to fix it up. And I think one of the big things that is a motivator to actually get it done and to be around the right people and to hire the right coaches and healers and to do the work is to have a really good reason why you want to do it. And if it's a conscious decision where you go, oh, this is why I do it, it can be really big. And it could be a conscious decision because of something that you want that's really big, but it could also be because you don't want to end up like me, like my stepdad, one of the big things. And so I consider him one of my biggest spiritual teachers, motivators. So I hope this helps you. And I'd love to hear what your big dream is, what you really want, why you want it, you know, why do you want it? Why is it so important? And because that can be a really big thing that gets you to the next level. So yeah, I remember before my stepdad died, it was back about 1987, I think. And he called me and I could tell he wanted me to go visit. You know, they were living in Kentucky and he wanted me to go visit. And I was like I did as a little kid, I was like pretending to care. And it's one of my methods I used to use to try to not get attacked, you know, trying to be on his side. And then I was like, I got kind of cold and I was like, made it very apparent I wasn't going to go back. I wasn't going back to visit him. And my sister went back and she told a story of a little boy that my dad saw doing something that he thought was not right, like trespassing on his land or doing some kind of thing. And he was so angry at the boy and thought he should be punished severely and was going on and on and on about it. And then later, a few days later, he saw the little boy walking with the dad and they were laughing and having a great time and just enjoying life. And he told my sister that he made a mistake when the way he raised me, made a mistake. What a thing to learn, huh? And he was dead a few days later, died of emphysema with my mom. So kind of, at least he had somebody with him. But but what a hell of a way to live, huh? And so I decided not to do that version of life. So what a great gift he gave me. So anyway, hope this isn't too much of a downer. Hope you help to figure out what you want in life and why you really want it, and and let me know. So all right, let's really get out there and live. Let's really live.